Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we are really jumping in deep, exploring reality in a way that kind of challenges everything we think we know. You know, about matter, consciousness, the universe itself.
Yeah.
Our source material today throws out some pretty wild ideas. Is the universe a hologram? Maybe a brain filter? And this core concept that everything, even success, boils down to frequency.
That's right. And our mission is, well, ambitious is probably the word. We're looking at sources that sit right on that edge between hard physics and, let's say, deep philosophy.
Okay.
And we're trying to map out the actual science, the quantum mechanics, that supposedly underpins these big claims. We need to connect the dots between the physical stuff, matter, waves, particles, and these more intangible ideas like tension and frequency.
And the sources kick off with this really provocative idea that fundamentally everything is a dream and how does the physics we can measure, especially frequency physics, even begin to line up with that kind of reality?
Well, it forces us to admit something uncomfortable, maybe. That this solid world we touch and see might just be an illusion. Created by speed and energy.
Okay. Biologically, sure, we're proteins, amino acids, all that complex stuff. But the sources are saying, physically, deep down, we're actually frequencies and wavelengths.
That really is the heart of it. Matter, this table, the air, it's just energy that's slowed down. Condensed, you could say. Enough for us to perceive it.
Right.
But what... makes iron and wood. That difference comes down to their specific wave characteristics, the frequency signature.
So the wave is like the blueprint. It defines the properties.
Exactly. The wave dictates the mass, the structure, and this ties directly into time. Remember, our sources point out time isn't fixed, it's linked to speed.
The faster you go, the slower time moves, relatively speaking.
Precisely. So if matter is just condensed energy moving at certain speeds, its whole appearance of being solid and permanent is, well, totally frequency dependent.
Okay, that grounds frequency a bit more in the physical world, but let's zoom way in. If we want to understand what we're made of, we have to go subatomic, right? What are the actual building blocks? How much of us is even solid?
Right, so we go down past molecules, past atoms, and we hit these fundamental particles. Leptons, quarks, and bosons. And the thing to really internalize is that these tiny things make up everything. Everything. And the universe, according to the physics we know, is surprisingly specific about its ingredients.
Okay, give us the breakdown. What's in the cosmic recipe?
So there are 25 different fundamental substances, basically.
Yeah.
24 of them are the structure bits, the leptons and quarks.
Leptons like electrons.
Exactly, electrons are leptons. And quarks make up protons and neutrons in the atom's core. Think of those 24 as the alphabet of physical reality.
Okay.
But then there's the 25th substance, just one type, the boson. And it plays a very different role.
The sources call it the glue. Why is that one so special?
Because bosons, specifically particles like the Higgs boson, are what give the other particles mass. They're the reason things have substance. But more than that, bosons are the force carriers.
Force carriers.
Yeah, they transmit the fundamental forces, electromagnetism, strong and weak nuclear forces. They're the connections, the interactions. If leptons and quarks are the bricks, bosons are like The border and the messages pass between them.
And this connects to the idea that empty space...
Not at all. That perception is totally misleading. What looks empty is actually buzzing with constant, tremendous particle traffic. Virtual particles popping in and out, interacting, communicating via those bosons. The sources call it a full chaos party, which is pretty vivid.
Chaos party.
Yeah, this underlying subatomic chaos is the energetic reality behind our seemingly stable world.
Okay, so we have this foundation of vibrating, interacting particles. Now, this is where things get really weird, and it loops back to that idea of reality as a filter or a dream. We have to talk about the double slit experiment, Thomas Young's experiment.
It's crucial, right?
Oh.
Because it showed how... bizarre light and matter truly are.
Oh, absolutely. It's still debated today because it highlights this wave-particle duality thing, and crucially, the role of the observer, maybe even consciousness.
So, walk us through it. What was the setup? What should have happened logically?
It's pretty simple on the surface. You fire particles, like electrons or even photons of light, at a barrier with two small slits in it. Then you look at the pattern they make on a screen behind the barrier.
Right, and if they're like tiny marbles, you'd expect two distinct lines on the screen lining up with the slits.
That's the classical expectation. Two bands, simple.
That's not what happened when no one was looking. Exactly. When there was no detector, no measurement at the slits to see which one the particle went through, the light or electrons acted like a wave. They spread out, interfered with each other and created this characteristic interference pattern, multiple bands, like ripples in water.
Okay, wave behavior.
And this is the mind-bending part, the moment you put a detector there to observe which slit the particle actually passed through, poof, the wave pattern vanishes. The wave function collapses, as physicists say. Suddenly, the electron behaves like a well-behaved particle again, and you get just the two bands on the screen, as if it knew it was being watched.
Okay, wow, the particle literally changes its fundamental behavior just because it's being observed. This seems to directly feed into that source idea of reality being a dream, or simulation. If observation locks reality down from potential, the wave, into substance, the particle, how do the sources argue our minds are involved in this?
Well, the argument is that consciousness itself, the act of observing, provides a kind of frequency input. It's the observation that collapses the wave function. In the quantum world, frequency isn't just vibration, it's information. It codes reality.
Codes reality.
Yeah, everything vibrates, right? The rate of that vibration, its frequency, determines its wavelength and its properties, like red light, low frequency, long wave. blue light high frequency, short waves. The sources suggest our attention, our focused consciousness, acts like a specific frequency that tells reality which form to take. It selects the outcome from the possibilities.
That is a
noise, right? Painful, jarring. That internal chaos, that frequency disharmony, manifests externally as friction and difficulty.
Okay, that makes the connection a bit clearer, moving beyond just think positive. Our thoughts themselves, the electrochemical signals in our brain, are literally generating frequencies. How specifically do the sources say these thought frequencies?
Well, the thought is the frequency generation. We know our brains operate at different wave states: delta, zeta, alpha, beta. Gamma, all measurable frequencies. When you're in a state like alpha, which is relaxed focus, or gamma, linked to high-level insight, you're
Coherent, meaning ordered, harmonious.
Exactly. That coherent, often positive feeling frequency interacts constructively with the universal Wi-Fi. It resonates, attracting similar frequencies, opportunities, aligned circumstances. This is presented as the physics behind concepts like the law of attraction, but grounded in frequency interaction.
And stress and negativity create the opposite effect: incoherent frequencies.
Absolutely. Low frequency states, often tied to being stuck in high-stress beta waves, the constant alert, anxious thinking, they generate messy, incoherent signals. This noise acts like interference, creating barriers, pushing away opportunities. It's why practices like focus, gratitude, meditation are emphasized by successful people, sources claim. They're not just feeling good, they're actively tuning their personal frequency generator for optimal transmission.
You mentioned brainwaves. The sources link stress to lower frequency. How quickly can someone actually shift their frequency according to this model? Is it instant?
The potential for shift is presented as very rapid. Stress immediately pulls you into discordant, low coherence frequencies. But achieving a state of success, defined here as clarity, flow, achievement, requires intentionally cultivating and maintaining those higher coherence frequencies.
So when you're focused, grateful, and flow.
You're essentially broadcasting a clear, powerful, harmonious signal into that entangled network, and the universe, mirroring the frequencies it receives, responds almost instantly, much like that second entangled particle knows what the first one is doing. It's about almost hacking the quantum field by deliberately tuning your internal vibrations, like tuning a radio to the station you want to hear.
Okay. If this is possible, why is there so much chaos, suffering, difficulty in the world and in our lives?
The million-dollar question. The explanation offered is widespread frequency disharmony. We're constantly bombarded by external static.
External static?
Yeah, the noise of daily life, chronic stressors, constant streams of negative or divisive information from media. These act as powerful external frequencies that can easily pull our own internal instrument out of tune. We get drowned out by the external noise, losing our internal harmony.
That makes the first step sound almost counterintuitive. If external noise is the problem, you can't just add more noise, even positive noise. What's the very first practical step the sources suggest? If I want to start playing my instrument correctly, where do I begin?
The sources are pretty... The first step isn't doing something louder. It's creating silence.
Silence.
Yes,
Yeah.
not necessarily total silence, but finding moments of inner quiet. A conscious pause, a few deep breaths. This creates a space where you can actually listen to your own internal frequency beneath the external chatter. You have to filter the noise first to even hear your own note. Then you can begin to consciously tune it towards coherence.
Wow. So we went from the Higgs boson giving mass to the universe